Okay guys, make sure to like, comment, and subscribe. Now, fasten your seatbelts. Here we go. All right guys, I'm back, wet hair and all. It's probably the straightest you will ever see my hair. Anyway, it is Saturday, September 12th, and it is 10:17 p.m. Eastern Time. Let's get into the news. Alrighty. Well, first I have a few people to thank. They donated via Coffee, and so many of you are switching over from Patreon to Coffee, and I thank you for that, because Patreon does take a portion of what you give and Coffee does not. They do not take 1 penny, so everything you give comes to the creator. So yeah, anyway, so Sunny Bishop, thank you very much, gave a monthly amount. Annette on the Ant Farm, that's an interesting name. Thank you for your donation. Citizen Jane, Rebel, and Sadie Jane. She also gave a monthly amount. So thank you very much, guys. I appreciate it very, very much. And I will stop mentioning the whole Patreon versus Coffee thing, but I do want to make sure that all my regulars have had a chance to see that. So let's get into the news. And let's start here. If we start at the beginning, it's always a very good place to start. Okay, so several reports coming out about the Durham investigation coming to a close and preparing to make moves. John Basham, Adam Housley, and Kevin Corke all have mentioned the same rumblings in some form. We're 52 days out from the election now. D5, and of course that is a reference to Q, because he used to always say D5. And there are probably many reasons for that. D is fourth letter in the alphabet, so it stands for 45. It also stands for the most extreme form of an avalanche. And of course, an avalanche can start as a little pebble. And I think that all of this started as a little pebble and has now turned into a massive, massive rolling ball that nobody can stop. And that's maybe a good thing. So let's take a look at this. And this is from John Basham. The next 13 days will be some of the most historic in United States history. Many people will be shocked and angry. Many politicians will cry foul, but the truth and the first steps towards justice are finally here. Well, let's hope that John Basham is right, because I think we've all been waiting for this a very long time, and a lot of people are just giving up hope that anything is going to happen, but it would make sense to me to do it in the days before the election. That would make sense to me, but not always. They don't always do things that make sense to us. So anyway, let's move on to the next one. This is Adam Housley. The Durham investigation is clearly coming to its final phase days. Danny helped frame the investigation and likely doesn't want or need to be in the spotlight. It's gonna get ugly. The media reporting yet again is wrong. Of course, anything the media reports, you know, as it pertains to the Trump administration is wrong. That's just what they do. They are the enemy of the people. And Adam Housley here said it's coming real soon and a ton of people are on edge, and frankly should be. Well, that's good news. And Kevin Corke, remember when I said wake me when there are indictments and or arrests? Well, a solid DOJ source just told me to set my alarm clock. I said I'll believe it when I see it. Well, I guess we'll all believe it when we see it, because we've all gotten a little weary of hearing about arrests that are going to happen and they don't happen. So we will be keeping our eyes open for that, and as soon as they're out there, I'll report it to you guys. So anyway, let's go back and see what else we can get into. Let me get out of these things, and yeah, let's go on now. This from Rise Up Melbourne. My word, Melbourne, what is happening? This is insane. There's an unmarked plane which is currently laying down a pentagram path over Melbourne as we speak. Do not say this is coincidence. Verify yourself. Download the app now. Share this like wildfire. Now, when you look at this, they are clearly laying down a pentagram. You can see this. Plain as day. I don't believe for a moment that that is just happen chance. No plane flies in a perfect pentagram with a circle around it. So what is going on, and what are they saying? Is Melbourne marked for some sort of destruction? I don't know, but I don't like that, and I certainly wouldn't like it if I was in Melbourne, Florida, because that, to me, is just a little bit scary. Why would a plane be doing that? I don't know, but it looks like it's, well, no, I don't know. I was going to say it looks like it's a military plane, but I don't know that for a fact, so I don't want to spread rumors. But down here is another one, and look at this. Again, apparently 3 days ago it happened, and now it's happening again. So this is the second time that, sorry, I have a little bug crawling on my computer, a little tiny. And yeah, that can't be coincidence. 3 days ago they were doing the same thing, and now they're doing it again. Pentagram over Melbourne. So now this one is a little bit southwest of Melbourne, right here by the coast. So I don't know what this is a omen of, but it doesn't look like a good omen to me. So anyway, just wanted to show you guys that, especially if you're in Melbourne, Florida area, or Florida, you know, at large. This one seemed to be right over Melbourne. This one was sort of southeast of Melbourne, and then the other one was a little southwest of Melbourne. So I don't know, but we'll have to be on the lookout over the next little while to see if anything does occur there. And if you are a believer, I would pray against whatever they are doing with this. It's nothing good, that's for sure. All right, and we're going to move on from there and look at this. All right, this from NPR. Portland, Oregon, mayor bans police use of tear gas at protests. And that doesn't surprise me at all, because, you know, they are tying the police hands. The police can't even really protect themselves. Well, I've said this before, I'll say it again. I am certainly glad that I don't work for the police in the States right now, in these Democrat cities. Anyway, Portland, Oregon, Mayor Ted Wheeler is telling the city police to end the use of CS gas for crowd control in a policy change that he says is effective immediately. The chlorine-containing compound is one of the most common forms of tear gas. During the last 100 days, Portland, Multnomah County, and state police have all relied on CS gas where there's a threat to life safety. Wheeler said, "We need something different, and we need it now." The shift comes after months of scrutiny and criticism over authorities' use of tear gas and other crowd dispersal measures during months of protest in Portland against police brutality and excessive force against blacks and other minorities. Wheeler had previously told the Portland Police Bureau to tamp down on the use of tear gas, but officers used the deterrent on people as recently as this past weekend, according to NPR member station Oregon Public Broadcasting. It added that some in Portland have nicknamed Wheeler Tear Gas Teddy. The mayor experienced tear gas himself in late July when federal agents used it during a nighttime demonstration he visited. Well, here's the thing. Like I've said before, you play stupid games, you win stupid prizes. If you take away any negative repercussions of the riots, they will continue to riot. There's nothing to deter them. So, I don't know. I certainly believe that the police should be allowed to use whatever is at their disposal. Experts say CS gas can cause burns on people's skins, in their eyes, and airways. Its use has been increasingly questioned during the COVID-19 pandemic, especially because a U.S. Army study found that recruits who were exposed to tear gas were more likely to get sick with respiratory illnesses. Well, isn't that convenient? Yes. Blame the fact that they can't use tear gas on COVID. Right. Well, they blame everything else on COVID, so why not that? There are sufficient data proving that tear gas can increase the susceptibility to pathogens, to virus, Duke University professor Sven Erik Jord told NPR in June. Yeah, well, I'm not sure if I believe that. It could be true, but, well, They can't blame us for not trusting anything they say, can they? The tear gas chemicals now seen drifting over crowds in recent protests are banned in warfare, NPR reported in June, but the Chemical Weapons Convention does not bar their use against civilian populations during protests, riots, or other forms of upheaval. Wheeler issued the ban on CS gas in his role as a police commissioner. Under Portland's system of government, the mayor occupies both roles, an arrangement Wheeler has previously said should be changed. And as he announced the new policy, Wheeler called on Portland community to work together to reduce violence, referring to the clashes that have marked a summer of protests against racial injustice. Arson, vandalism, and violence are not going to drive the change this community needs, the mayor says, adding that he expects the police to arrest anyone involved in those illegal actions. I call on everyone to step up and tamp down the violence, Wheeler said. I'm acting. It's time for others to join me. No, he's not acting. He's not at all. And what is the sense in them arresting people when it's just a revolving turnstile? They're arrested, they're back on the street the next night. They're arrested, they're back on the street the next night. How is that quelling the violence? It's not. Anyway, let's move on now to the next item on our list, and let's look at this. I like the name of this person, Swamp Nugget. That's a great name. The left calls this drone dropping flames climate change. Oh, maybe they didn't want you to see this. No, I don't imagine they did. And this is proof that these fires are not naturally occurring. They are setting them. By plane, by drone, whatever they're doing, they are causing these fires. Some of them are arson, some of them are being set, and some of them are being set like this from the sky, and some of them are direct energy weapons. So, yeah, isn't that special? I'm sure that makes the people of California and Oregon and all up and down the West Coast, I'm sure this makes them feel very safe seeing some sort of aerial device dropping flames into the wilderness. Yeah, it's sickening because look how many pristine acres get devoured, how many people lose their lives, people that are out in these areas, rural areas, and also animals. It's beyond me how anybody could do this, really. Anyone human could do this to other human beings and other living creatures. So anyway, let's go on because we have something else from Swamp Nugget. And it's this, and I want to play this in its entirety because this is a person that's there, and it's, you know, you listen to this woman and you know she's not an actor, she's just a citizen that is reporting on what's happening. And I want everyone to listen to this, so I will make it bigger for my tiny phone people, and here we go.
Know what else to do, so I am coming live on Facebook, which I've never done before. But Scott has, as you guys know, has been up on the Will Hoyt fire on a bulldozer for the last 36 hours or something, and he was going to go home and check on our house because just to check on our house and make sure that, you know, no assholes had taken any of our stuff. And he was driving from up on the hill, and he came down the hill and in Markham turned right, and there's a hayfield right across the street from our driveway, and there's right before Markham Circle, and he noticed out in the hayfield there's some big round bales, and one of them has a smiley face on it. I'm sure if you live out there you know what I'm talking about. And he noticed two guys in gas masks out there, and they're trying to set the freaking field on fire, the hay bale on fire, the big bale. So he pulls off to the side of the road and gets out of the truck, and the guys run and get in their car and are headed towards Silverton. Scott has been on the dozer. He has no idea what's going on. He doesn't know that this has been happening. I know there was a sighting of two guys in gas masks last night up on Sawtell trying to start a fire, which somebody then said was false, and somewhere else as well. So I'm here to tell you that that is actually happening. Scott watched them trying to start a fire on that round bale across from our driveway on Highway 213, right?
And you can tell she's not acting, she's just reporting what's happening. And we're hearing more and more and more people talking about this, about people seen setting fires. And the FBI came out and said that no, that was just rumor and there weren't any people setting fires. Well, that's a lie. That is an out and out lie. So why they want us to believe that people are not setting fires, I don't know, but they are. They are. So let's come back now and move to this. And this is Ms. Marfugel, and I'm sure a lot of you, maybe some of you at least, watch Marfugel News. I really like Marfugel. I've been listening to him since he first started, and he's come so far and really does an amazing job if you're not listening to him already. So, Ms. Marfugel says, to all people saying there is no way people are starting these fires, you're wrong. Maybe not all the fires, but there are opportunists that are using them as an excuse to do more damage. How is it hard to believe with everything else people are doing in cities everywhere? No, it's not hard to believe at all. In fact, I would find it hard to believe if people weren't starting these fires, because how could there be that many fires? There's never been that many fires. And if you notice, they just stop abruptly right at the Canadian border. Then you go up to Alaska and they're all up through Alaska. So don't tell me these aren't on purpose. How do they know to stop at the border? Why isn't British Columbia on fire? It is mostly forest, pristine forest. So why isn't it on fire? But it's not. So don't tell me that people aren't starting these fires, because they are. Now, somebody is. Maybe it's not all Antifa or what have you. I think some of it is. But also, I think there are other, maybe deep state sources involved, because they want it to be as chaotic as possible before the election. They want to blame everything on Trump, and they want people to vote for Trump, or vote for Biden. But here's the other thing that I think about. Why are they trying to depopulate these areas? Is this an Agenda 21 thing or Agenda 2030 thing? I don't know. But it sure seems they're working hard at depopulating some of these areas. So I don't know. I don't know what they have planned. But anyway, and she is responding to this. Multnomah County Sheriff, we are at a loss for words. Deputies and Corbett Fire responded to a small brush fire in the 1700 block of Northeast Brower Road in Corbett at 3:52 p.m. Neighbors heard pops and saw 6-foot flames in the forest. Using a shovel and water, they were able to put it out. Deputies found fireworks. Now, they're not going to tell me that those fireworks, naturally occurring fireworks in the forest. I mean, come on. So, yeah, thank goodness somebody was able to put that fire out before it did damage and possibly burnt people out of their homes. All right, and let's look at this. Oh, hang on here. There we go. All righty. Yeah, get a load of this. Joe Biden, Trump accidentally making peace between Israel and Arab states. Accidentally. Well, if he is accidentally making peace, then he's achieved more accidentally than all previous presidents did on purpose. So, wow. Just amazing, amazing. And I don't know, Joe Biden seems to be getting worse and worse and worse. But former Vice President Joe Biden acknowledged Thursday that President Donald Trump is making peace between Israel and several Arab states, but he said he was doing so accidentally. Well, I mean, he and Obama couldn't even achieve that on purpose, could they? No. So All right. So, even if he did do it accidentally, more power to him. Of course, he didn't do it accidentally, but because that is absolutely ridiculous, ludicrous, asinine. I think Trump is going to accidentally do something positive here in terms of the issue of other Arab states making peace and establishing normal relations with Israel, Biden told a fundraiser hosted by the far-left J Street organization, as quoted by the Times of Israel. As Breitbart News noted Friday, Biden's main argument was reportedly that Trump had put Israel in danger despite the peace agreements because he had withdrawn from the Iran nuclear deal and the Iranian regime was enriching uranium. However, an intelligence trove seized by Israel and revealed by Israeli Prime Minister Benjamin Netanyahu in 2018 showed that Iran had never intended to suspend its nuclear program. The deal allowed it to resume its work after roughly a decade. Democrats struggled Friday to downplay the news that the Trump administration had brokered yet another peace agreement between Israel and an Arab nation, in this case, Bahrain. It was only the latest success. As Breitbart News noted, first there was the United Arab Emirates, which is establishing full normalization within the Jewish state and will formalize an agreement at the White House later this month. Then there was Kosovo, which is establishing relations with Israel and putting an embassy in Jerusalem under the terms of a deal brokered by the Trump administration last week. Then Chad, a majority Muslim nation, announced earlier this week that it will be putting an embassy in Jerusalem. Saudi Arabia announced that it will allow Israeli commercial flights above its airspace, not just to Dubai, but to all eastbound destinations. The Palestinian Authority tried to convince the Arab League to denounce the United Arab Emirates peace deal. The Arab League refused to do so. Speaker of the House, Nancy Pelosi, described the news about Bahrain as a distraction. For the Trump administration that allowed it to ignore the continued impact of the coronavirus pandemic. This woman needs serious help. Really, she needs help. Yeah, the peace deal was a distraction, and I'm sure all these countries just went along with it. Right, Pelosi, right. Yeah, she thinks we're idiots. All right, and idiots generally think that everybody's idiots because they themselves are, and we always attribute to others what we ourselves are. So, you know, liberal Speaker of the House, yeah, okay, I read that. Liberal pundit Matthew, well, there's no hope I can pronounce that, but let's have fun trying. Iglesias tweeted, "It's kind of hilarious that Jared Kushner has effed up all kinds of things, but has in fact successfully brokered diplomatic breakthroughs in the Arab-Israeli conflict." And this is in response to the key was to just give up on trying to resolve anything and just give carte blanche to all kinds of terrible people while setting the country on course for a pointless conflict with Iran. The orb knows, whatever that is supposed to mean. All right. He predicted that the country was nonetheless on course for a pointless conflict with Iran. Yeah, okay, there you go. These people, I don't know what's happened to the Democrats. I never remember them being this bad. And I don't know, maybe I'm wrong. Maybe they've been this bad all along, but I don't remember it. All right, now let's come back here. And let's read this from Donald Trump. Alert! So now we find out the entire Mueller hit squad illegally wiped their phones clean just prior to the investigation of them, all using the same really dumb reason for this accident, just like crooked Hillary smashing her phones with a hammer and deleting her emails. It has now been determined that the Mueller scam should never have been set up in the first place. There were no grounds. It was all an illegitimate witch hunt, and a big price must be paid. How different my life would have been if this fraud on America was never committed. Imagine how much Donald Trump would have been able to accomplish. I mean, he's already accomplished more than anyone before him. But imagine how much he could have really accomplished if the Dems were working with him instead of against him. But that's too much to hope for. All right, and this from Donald J. Trump. He tweeted this and Twitter deleted it, like they do. He said this tweet violated their Twitter said this tweet, and the tweet was just election interference! Exclamation mark. That's all he wrote. And Twitter said this tweet violated the Twitter rules about civic and election integrity. However, Twitter has determined that it may be in the public's interest for the tweet to remain accessible. And North Carolina, to make sure your ballot counts, sign and send it early. When polls open, go to your polling place to see if it was counted. If not, vote. Your signed ballot will not count because your vote has been posted. Don't let them illegally take your vote away from you. So why is Trump saying this a violation, but this tweet over here is not? Well, because one was written by Trump and another a Democrat. That's why. Yeah. Different rules depending on who you are. Now, let's look at this. It's by Breitbart. 8 lies by Joe Biden and the left that Twitter didn't fact check. No, they only fact check. Conservatives who are going against the narrative. Those are the only people they fact check. They don't care what the left has to say. All right. So, Twitter added a fact check label to President Donald Trump's tweets, raising widely held concerns with mail-in voting fraud earlier today, but it has failed to apply a similar standard to repeated falsehoods by elected Democrats, the mainstream media, and Joe Biden. Unlike Facebook, which gives itself plausible deniability for fact-checking bias by relying on third-party fact-checkers, almost all left-leaning, to pick and choose what to fact-check and what to ignore, Twitter made the decision to fact-check Trump's tweet itself, linking to an official moment curated by Twitter employees and containing numerous articles from the mainstream media calling the president a liar. In a comment to Breitbart News, Twitter said there's no way for the president even to appeal the dubious fact checks. In the past day alone, Twitter let falsehoods from the mainstream media circulate without any attempts to involve fact checkers. The past few days and weeks reveal even more instances where information from Democrats, Biden, and the mainstream media have been allowed to circulate on the platform without a fact check. Excuse me. Media falsely claim that Trump went golfing on Memorial Day, not fact-checked by Twitter. Earlier today, numerous false reports circulated on Twitter from mainstream journalists incorrectly claiming that the president was out golfing on Memorial Day. The claim is false and can easily be proven false with a quick search of news articles. Trump was indeed golfing this weekend, but on Memorial Day itself, he attended a ceremony at Arlington National Cemetery with Vice President Pence. Twitter nonetheless allowed this claim to go viral without any fact-checking labels applied to it. On the same day, it fact-checked a perfectly valid concern from the president about voting fraud. So, yeah, interesting. 2, Biden. Democrats falsely claim they called for lockdowns 1 week before Trump, not fact-checked by Twitter. Patently false, of course. Presumptive Democrat nominee Joe Biden regularly pushes misinformation about the Chinese virus, falsely claiming that he called for a shutdown 1 week before Trump. There's no evidence that he made any statement of the sort. On the contrary, he is on record vocally opposing Trump's early travel ban on China. His claim of an early call for lockdown, which took place during his now infamous interview on The Breakfast Club, has not been fact-checked by Twitter. Well, of course. It's because Joe Biden said it. And 3, China pushes conspiracy theory that the U.S. military created the coronavirus, not fact-checked by Twitter. Chinese propagandists are regularly allowed to flood social media platforms with misinformation, the most egregious of which is the conspiracy theory that the U.S. military created the Chinese coronavirus. In March, Chinese government spokesman Lihan Zhao tweeted that it might be the U.S. Army who brought the epidemic to Wuhan. Beijing propagandists have also spread the false narrative, highlighted by the U.S. lawmakers in a March letter to Twitter CEO Jack Dorsey, that China did everything possible to control the global spread of the virus, even though the communist government initially tried to cover up reports of the burgeoning outbreak in Wuhan, where the virus emerged. In March, Twitter announced that it would not be taking action against Chinese misinformation posted to the platform by official government accounts, such as those shown below. China has doubled the number of official accounts tweeting since January, and they have tweeted 90,000 times since April. Luckily for the communist country, China doesn't face the same scrutiny on the platform as President Trump. Yeah. And here it says CDC was caught on the spot. When did patient zero begin in U.S.? How many people are infected? What are the names of the hospitals? It might be U.S. Army who brought the epidemic to Wuhan. Be transparent. Make public your data. U.S. owes us an explanation. No, Chinese government, U.S. owes you nothing. Zip. Zilch. Nada. Just so that you know. All right, and this is another misinformation that Twitter did nothing about. In our fight against COVID-19, the Chinese government has always been open, transparent, and responsible. Oh my gosh. I mean, anybody knows that's false. We always speak the truth with facts. Right. It's crystal clear what country has been doing everything possible to ensure people's life and health and promote anti-pandemic cooperation. Right. Yeah, not fact-checked by Twitter, because it's Chinese, probably. They're given carte blanche to just do whatever and say whatever they want, whether it's true or not. And number 4, Biden claims Trump has no comprehensive plan for the virus or the economy. Not fact-checked by Twitter. On the same day that Twitter fact-checked President Trump, Joe Biden tweeted the demonstrable, I'm sorry, I'm having trouble with that word right now. I'll be able to pronounce it in a minute when I don't need to. But anyway, false statement that President Trump has no comprehensive plan for the virus and economy. On the contrary, earlier this month, the Trump White House released a step-by-step plan for the reopening of America with guidelines for how and when states and businesses should reopen. Yeah, here's Joe Biden. We are months into this crisis and Donald Trump still doesn't have a comprehensive plan when it comes to COVID-19 or the economy. It's unacceptable. I released a detailed plan laying out what I would do months ago and have built on it since. Take a look. No, thank you. I'd rather have my eyes dug out with spoons. And number 5, Biden claims he wants any records of Tara Reade's sexual assault allegations against him to be released, even though he's blocking the release of his Senate records, not fact-checked by Twitter. Joe Biden has falsely claimed that he wants any records of Tara Reade's sexual assault allegations to be released, even though he has blocked the release of Senate papers from the archives in the University of Delaware. The claim, repeated and disseminated by the mainstream media, has not been fact-checked by Twitter. Of course not. And number 6, media falsely claims Trump was warned about the outbreak as early as November, not fact-checked by Twitter. Last month, ABC News ran poorly sourced claims that the National Center for Medical Intelligence, an arm of the Pentagon, briefed the White House on the coronavirus as early as November. In response, the NCMI put out a rare statement debunking the piece. The agency doesn't normally comment publicly on intelligence matters. Despite this, viral tweets of the article remain on Twitter without any fact checks. Yeah. And number 7. Kamala Harris falsely claims that 100,000 coronavirus deaths didn't have to happen. Not fact-checked by Twitter. Failed presidential candidate Kamala Harris claimed that 100,000 deaths from coronavirus in the U.S. didn't have to happen, even though the figure is at the low end of what CDC officials predicted in March. Dr. Deborah Birx and Dr. Anthony Fauci predicted that if the U.S. took no action, deaths could have spiked to the millions. A low estimate, in the view of Dr. Birx and Dr. Fauci, was between 100,000 and 240,000 deaths, meaning that Harris claims that the deaths didn't have to happen are in reference to the lowest fatality rate estimated by the CDC officials. And number 8, in January, WHO World Health Organization, claims no evidence of human-to-human transmission of the coronavirus, and this is not fact-checked by Twitter. In January, the World Health Organization repeated a highly destructive piece of misinformation from Chinese investigators in Wuhan, the initial epicenter of the coronavirus outbreak. The claim, repeated in a tweet from the official WHO account, was that there was no clear evidence of human-to-human transmission of the virus. The claim, now obviously proven false, remains without any on Twitter, without any fact check label from the platform. Yeah, so there you go. And they say these are only a small selection of the many lies and half-truths that Democrats, foreign governments, and the media are allowed to spread on Twitter. Other examples including the Covington Gate smear of MAGA hat-wearing high school kids, Representative Adam Schiff's wildly exaggerated Trump-Ukraine transcripts, and the Steele dossier. Twitter has said that it may use warning labels to provide additional explanations or clarifications in situations where the risk of harm associated with a tweet are less severe, but where people may still be confused or misled by the content. This will make it easier to find facts and make informed decisions about what people see on Twitter. Based on the facts in this article, it seems this rule is being used to delegitimize valid points from President Trump while demonstratively false statements from Democrats, the media, and Chinese propagandists are allowed to circulate unhindered. Yeah. I don't know why Twitter is allowed to continue to get away with this. They are blatantly censoring only the right-leaning people. That's all that's being censored on there. Everybody else, oh, it's a free-for-all. So let's go on from there and get into some of the rest of this stuff. And this is from Conservative New Punk Rock. So they know it should go to president or they wouldn't be trying to omit award now. And that is in response to the Atlantic magazine saying that the Nobel Peace Prize needs to be abolished. Well, of course, this is the first time it's been brought up about abolishing the Nobel Peace Prize. And of course, it's only brought up after it's announced that Trump has been, nominated for it. So isn't that interesting? I think it's pretty crystal clear why they're doing that. And let me just check our time here. And yeah, we still got lots of time. All right, let's go back here. And let me just check one more thing here, make sure we're recording okay. I didn't check that. Yep, we're all right. Good. There's a good chance you'll have a video tonight that you can actually hear. Woohoo! All right, now let's look at this. Yeah. Now, let me make this bigger for you tiny phone people. And please tell me how this occurs, how a fire can erupt on the top of a palm tree. Where did it come from? Where did that fire come from? There's no fire anywhere around it, but the top of the palm tree is on fire. Well, let's take a look.
What the fuck is going on, bro?
Sorry for the language. Like, what's that about? Really? How does that happen?
What is going on, bro? What the?
I don't know. I don't know how it happens either. Well, I think we do know how it happens. It evidently came from the sky. There's no fire around it for it to be a spark that's blown, blown into the tree. So, yeah. Anyway, let's go back. And, oh, I put that in there twice. I don't know why, but I did. Yeah, now this is a little bit old by now, but let's take a look at it anyway, because it's strange. This was from September 4th. Salon had to remove job ad for happy stylus because it is discriminatory against unhappy people. All right. Really, our world is just getting stranger and stranger. Allison Birch listed a job ad looking for a part-time qualified hairdresser at her AJ's unisex hair salon in Stroud, Gloucestershire. A hair salon says it was told by a job center it couldn't run an advertisement recruiting a happy stylist because the word is discriminatory against unhappy people. Allison Birch listed a job ad looking for a part-time qualified hairdresser at her AJ's unisex hair salon in Stroud, England. The position called for someone with 5 years experience working in a salon who is confident in barbering as well as all aspects of hairdressing. And the advertisement stated, this is a busy, friendly, small salon, so only happy, friendly stylists need apply. But on Wednesday, Birch said she received a call from her local job center informing her she could not run her ad because the word happy is considered discriminatory. So there you go. The position called for someone with 5 years. Okay, well, we've already gone through that. I think they just keep repeating the same thing. She claims the man at the job center said to her, "I'm sorry, but the word happy is discriminatory word, and we're not allowed to use it, as somebody who is not happy will be discriminated against." According to Birch, he then asked, should we change the word in case somebody thinks that they can't apply for the job because they're not a happy person? Wow. Wow. That's all I can say. Birch said she was questioning herself. Was I being a bit sensitive, and is this word happy discriminative? Or has the whole world gone mad? Birch said. Well, I think the whole world has gone mad. And plenty of Birch's customers agreed with her outrage over the job center's ridiculous stance on her advert. Karen Evans commented, the world has gone completely mad. Does this mean that every descriptive word is discriminative? Happy, tall, smart, elegant? Good luck with your search. Julie Thickens added, I thought this was a joke. Realizing it clearly isn't has left me absolutely speechless. What has the human race come to? And Charlie Brown wrote, you can't make it up. How ridiculous are they being? Stick to your guns, Allie. You are a happy salon, and if some numpties cannot deal with that wording, then tough. Well, unbelievable is, I don't know. I don't know what other word to use. But, yeah, strange could be the word. All right, well, let's go back because we've got more to get to, always more to get to. And yeah, let's look at this as well. This kind of concerns me. Dozens missing in Oregon amid wildfires. Now, this is not good. And something I want to point out in this picture, look at this guy. His house is burnt to the ground. There is absolutely nothing left except a few bits of steel. But everything else is just, it's gone. There's nothing there. But in all that heat, enough to melt the entire house to the ground, there's still trees standing. And look, beside the sidewalk that leads to this house, there is green grass. Green grass. It hasn't been burnt up. Why? Why has it not been burnt up? And what about these trees back here? Wouldn't that fire just scorch them and burn them up? Apparently not. But the green grass is what gets me. How does that happen? Yeah, we know how it happens. Salem, Oregon, hundreds of firefighters battled two large wildfires Friday that threatened to merge near the most populated part of Oregon, including the suburbs of Portland, and the governor said dozens of people are missing in other parts of the state. The state's emergency management director, Andrew Phelps, said officials are preparing for a mass fatality event and that thousands of structures have been destroyed. Governor Kate Brown said that more than 40,000 Oregonians have been evacuated, and about 500,000 are in different levels of evacuation zones, either having been told to leave or to prepare to do so. She was dialing back on the statement late Thursday issued by the State Office of Emergency Management that said 500,000 people have been ordered to evacuate statewide. So, there's more to this, but I'm not going to go into that. But I did want you to know that, and I did want you to see this picture because it's a little curious, if you ask me. All right, and let's go back. And I may have to skip a few of these until tomorrow because we've got more than I can get through today. But let's look at, I can't remember what this is, but let's look at it. Well, anytime. It says word not responding, so I guess we'll have to wait, talk nicely to it, buy it lunch. I don't know. I don't know what it wants. But, you know, any day now. Any day. Really. Come on. Word not responding. Hate when that happens. There we go. Yeah, just had to, you know, had to be nice to it and buy it some lunch. Nearly 100 earthquakes swarm Yellowstone in 24 hours. Here's what experts are saying. Now, that's a lot of earthquakes. A swarm of 91, hang on here. A swarm of 91 earthquakes rattled the Yellowstone National Park region in just 24 hours on Thursday, according to the United States Geological Survey. The quakes trembled southwest of Yellowstone Lake between Heart Lake and West Thumb. Although the area is one of the most seismically active regions in the U.S., the cluster of quakes is on the large side in terms of number and magnitude, but nowhere near the largest. Michael Poland, scientist in charge of the Yellowstone Volcano Observatory, told McClatchy News in an email. Yellowstone has had swarms that include many hundreds of earthquakes in a day, Poland said. But, for example, there was a 3-month-long swarm that occurred in June to September 2017 with 2,400 located earthquakes and maximum magnitude 4.4. Hang on here. The recent cluster of quakes didn't pass 3 magnitude. The biggest trembler was recorded at 2.8 magnitude, while the weakest was measured at 0.1 magnitude. It's when earthquakes reach magnitudes between 2.5 and 5.4 that activity is usually felt, with minor resulting damage. But it is still interesting, all these earthquakes happening, this cluster of earthquakes. So I don't know. I guess we'll have to keep an eye on that. Anyway, what's more, the 91 quakes rattled alongside fake tremors set off by vibroses. Truck driven through Old Faithful, West Thumb, Canyon Village, and Lake Butte as part of an experiment conducted by the University of Utah and University of New Mexico, Poland added. These trucks are giant vehicles that can weigh up to 70,000 pounds that vibrate steel plates on the ground, sending low-frequency energy through it. They are helping to create images of the top of Yellowstone's magma chamber, or that sleeping supervolcano people fear will explode unannounced, with the help of hundreds of temporary seismometers located across the park. Luckily, there are no signs of an imminent eruption. The USGS Volcano Hazards Program declared a normal alert level on September 1st. For some, 2020, it's just not the year to be messing around with things like Yellowstone's magma chamber, one Twitter user wrote. A seismic imaging experiment is underway in Yellowstone right now by UUSS Quake and University of New Mexico scientists. Hundreds of temporary seismometers are recording synthetic earthquakes generated by a vibrosis truck. You can even see the quakes on the real-time data streams. Yeah. So anyway, that's all I'm going to read of that. And let's come back here and see what else we can get into. All right, let's look at this. Okay, this is from The Last Refuge. And arson arrests being made across the West Coast. Multiple fires identified as arson. 27 people killed, dozens missing. Now, you know, the FBI had said that no, these weren't arson, but I think that we can beg to differ, because that's not what we're hearing, is it? In a rather disconcerting sequence of events, many of the West Coast forest fires are now being attributed to intentional arson. One of the key aspects of the unnatural outbreak of fires is a proximity to homes and well-established neighborhoods in California, Washington State, and Oregon. A Twitter account by Katie Daviscourt has been tracking some of the fires and a recent series of events from the area. The ongoing thread is updated with several points of evidence where people have been caught, captured, or filmed in the act of lighting fires. There is some speculation and some evidence that some of these fires may have been ignited by Antifa activists as a method of further creating crisis in the region. The FBI is saying there is no evidence Antifa or Joe Biden's far-left base of support are behind the fires. However, given the internal dynamic within the FBI and accepting the FBI carries a political agenda and considering the facts on the ground do not support the denials, the downplaying of motive by the FBI is not very reassuring. A statement by federal law enforcement to Law Enforcement Today is troubling and points to several ongoing investigations into these fires. Law Enforcement Today, a federal law enforcement source shared with Law Enforcement Today that the feds are looking into whether some of the cases are linked together and warned there could be more attacks. We are reacting to the coordinated series of attempts to start fires anywhere and everywhere in Oregon, public and private lands, incorporated and unincorporated areas, but all indications so far in the preliminary stages of these investigations, there is a coordinated effort on the part of these individuals to start fires in areas that are the least protected and most vulnerable, then working their way into more populated areas and neighborhoods. Please take this information as an advisory for your own account and welfare, and please act in good faith with due diligence to plan accordingly for your own safety and the well-being of your community. Let's look at this.
Oh shit, yeah, you were right up in it. Now, watch up here. You see somebody? Well, there are people.
Oh,
Yes, I did. Yep. So, I decided.
And that was Elk Rock. It says Elk Rock was arson.
There's a person right there with the probably like a torch or an aerosol can or something in their hands. And then, yeah, so right here. Oh yeah. Black hood, black hoodie, black pants, gas can, torch.
Yep.
Wow. Mm. Yep.
That's disgusting.
Off, right? Yeah, this trail. Hopefully.
That's awful. Really, it truly is, because you know, people are dying in these fires, and it's awful. Let's see what this is.
What have you heard? And that's fine. You can say, what have you heard about Antifa coming? I want to know how you know that information. It's very serious right now, okay?
Yeah. What I heard...
And my name's Mark, by the way.
Okay. What I heard from some...
Sir, are you part of this? Will you please go over there then? Thank you.
What I heard was from some conservatives.
Okay.
Right?
And this is serious. I mean, I want to know whatever you know.
Yeah. That...
These are with Cop Watch stuff, so we're talking. Right,
that they were... they had guns in the car. They said that there was Antifa that set a barrel on fire in Sandy.
I don't know that.
Okay, and they said that, well, they said someone's seen it.
Okay.
And they said...
Are you videoing this? I know. So are you?
Yeah.
Okay, that's cool. That's fine.
And what they did was what they're doing is they're driving around looking for Antifa.
Your friends are, or whoever these people are?
I don't... Yeah.
Okay. All right.
I also know, because the guy showed me a video...
If you have, is a video showing cars or anything like that?
No.
Because we're serious about this, okay?
Yeah. A guy showed me this video right here.
Let me get my glasses on.
Or not a video, but a picture.
Okay. Gas cans and propane? Okay.
Yeah. They found that in a bush.
Where?
I don't know.
Okay.
That's Clackamas County.
Can we find out where? Because here's what I'm worried about. Bob, right?
Yeah.
Okay. What I'm worried about is that there's people stashing stuff, right?
Right.
It means that they're going to go in preparation. Mm-hmm. All right. And I don't want to sound like some doomsdayer,
Right.
But it's getting serious, and we need the public's help on this.
There's people that are not going to leave their homes, and if this happens, if they start igniting more fires, people are going to die.
Right.
That's not okay.
No.
It shouldn't be okay with anybody on Cop Watch.
Hell no, it's not.
Anybody in the world right now.
No.
That's absolutely crossing a huge line
Right.
about politics or anything.
Is he? Your crew?
No one's with me.
Okay.
I'm by myself.
All right, because he was mean mugging me. I was like,
Yeah.
"You want to go talk to that guy?"
Yeah.
There was something wrong with him. So if you know anything, please get a hold of me. And you can video us. I don't really care.
Right.
I don't. I'll even show you my name. You can get that on your camera too. Okay.
Do you have a business card?
I don't. I'm all up. I'll write my name down.
Okay.
You can call me. Okay.
Yeah.
Because, man, like I said, I'm 20 days away, but I still give a shit. Right. You can put it on camera. I give a shit. Okay. And you need to spell that out.
Yeah.
What guy said it?
Yeah. But yeah, I was up there in the hills driving around looking for the fire and also looking for looters.
If you find it, put that camera to work. So I want license plate numbers, vehicles. You can get their face. It's horrible up here right now.
Right. And a lot of the people believe that if the fire does hit town, the sheriffs will be gone, and basically it's going to be whatever people's here.
I'm not gonna be surprised. They've now pulled all fire personnel from the front lines because they're waiting for this just to explode.
Yeah.
So just for your own safety, I don't know where you live. I don't really care, but I don't know what the timeline is on it, but it's serious.
Yeah. Well, if it comes here, I'm gonna stand right in the middle of that parking lot right there.
Yeah, there you go. Yeah. So, but seriously, if you get any intel, because I know you're pretty well linked with some of the community as far as that stuff goes, please call us. This is important because, and I'm gonna say this, Antifa motherfuckers, okay,
right,
are out causing hell, and there's a lot of lives at stake, and there's a lot of people's property at stake because these guys.
So there you go, and I'm not going to play any more of that, but if you are in Oregon and you happen to see any of this, take a picture, record it on your phone, whatever. Don't put yourself in any danger, of course. But if you're seeing this happening, make sure to get it on camera, because chances are someone may recognize who it is and get these people, because this is, well, it's murder. It's murder. When you start burning places down without regards, of houses nearby and so forth, that is out and outright murder. Because not everybody will be able to get out in time, and there are people that are in their homes that some are very disabled and can't get out without help. So this is absolutely unbelievable, but it is happening. All right, and here it says we just got level 2 alert. 3 is evacuate. We are listening to ham radio, and people are getting caught left and right for arson. I mean, in the dozens. We're also hearing that they can't contain any of the fires. Ham radio channel 155.430, 155.190. Arsonists are getting caught. Well, that is very good news to me. And this, MSM, in Oregon's Clackamas and Marion counties, south of Portland, smoke was so thick that it was difficult to see more than 10 feet ahead Saturday morning. Carol Lee Brown told CNN she had relocated twice this week because of evacuation orders. She's been losing sleep, constantly monitoring her home security camera online to see if it's still standing. As of Saturday morning, it was. It's unreal. You can't really fathom what is going on, she told CNN in Marion County. You take what you think you should, and you just get out. While Oregon's death toll was at least 6 on Saturday, the state is preparing for a mass fatality incident based on how many structures have been charred. Oregon Emergency Management Director Andrew Phelps said Friday. Already dozens are missing, the state's governor said. Most areas, Jackson, Lane, and Marion counties in West Oregon. Let me see here. Oh my gosh. Yeah, that's, let me just see this. That's sad. That is so sad. You imagine? That's all that's left of your home. That's it. But in the background, again, I see green grass. Back here, there's green. How that happens, I don't know. And Yeah. So that's it for now on that. And let's go back. And I may have to, let me see what this is. I may have to leave some of these for tomorrow, these items. Don't think I can get through all of them, but what is this? Yeah, I wanted to say that this is kind of a little off topic of what we've been talking about, but still, it's extremely important. And I remember this happening because I remember feeling so good, like, wow, what a great guy. When Donald Trump sent hundreds of his own workers to Ground Zero to help, and he walked through the devastation regularly to inspire and motivate the troops. You know who I did not see? Joe Biden. Yeah, that's true. But yeah, he paid for people to go down and clean up with his own money. So yeah, he loves America. He loves New York City. He loves America. So now let's, I think we are getting near the end here of what, yeah, we're right at an hour. So I've got just a couple more things, and yeah, let's look at this. Remember a few years ago when 2 undercover journalists exposed that Planned Parenthood was selling aborted baby body parts, a felony, and the California Attorney General prosecuted the journalists and never did anything against Planned Parenthood? Yeah, that Attorney General was Kamala Harris. So I think we need to remember that, don't we? And also, remember, loose lips sink ships. On May 3rd, 2011, then VP Joe Biden publicly revealed the identities of the Navy SEAL Team 6, a special operation unit responsible for the killing of al-Qaeda leader Osama bin Laden. Biden's remarks put the lives of SEAL Team 6 at risk of retaliation by the Taliban, jihadists, and al-Qaeda sympathizers. He is responsible for the attack against U.S. soldiers in Afghanistan in August 2011 that killed 31 personnel, including 25 Navy SEALs. Yeah, that's Joe Biden. And that is who is running for president. Yeah. Now, I am going to leave that there, and I'm going to cover, as I am attempting to do with every show now, I'm going to leave you with a feel-good story. I hope it'll make you feel good anyway. It certainly did me. All right. Now it says, adorable boy with a cleft lip finds his perfect match, a puppy with the same condition. When a young father went to the local animal shelter to look at chickens, the last thing he was expecting to come home with was a puppy, but when he saw a black and white pup with a cleft lip, just like his son's, he knew the sweet dog would make a perfect addition to his family. As you can see from the photos, little Bentley, who's now age 2, was so delighted to meet his new friend. Look at the smile on his face. That boy is adorable, and so is the puppy. It's so hard to put into words how meaningful this adoption is to all of us, and this is from the Jackson County Animal Shelter in Michigan. So hard to put into words how meaningful this adoption is to all of us, so we're going to let the pictures speak for themselves. Introducing Bentley and his new puppy at 2 years old, and with surgeries already under his belt for his cleft lip, Bentley found his match today in the tiny pup who also has a cleft lip. They instantly loved each other. We wish many years of joy as a special pair grow up together. And that is so, so sweet. Bentley's mom, Ashley Boyers, is excited about the budding friendship between the pair too. She explained to Click on Detroit that seeing her toddler son have something in common with a puppy means a lot, because he can grow up and understand that he and his puppy both have something they can share in common. As for the team at Michigan's Jackson County Animal Shelter, they're equally happy to see the instant love between the 2-month-old puppy and Bentley. Writing on Facebook, they said it's hard to put into words how meaningful this adoption is to all of us. We wish many years of joy as a special pair grow up together. Watch the possum video of Bentley and his new friend below. And of course, we have to share that. So let me make this bigger. Well, hopefully I can. There we go.
Pure happiness at the Jackson County Animal Shelter on Friday. 2-year-old Bentley Boyers got to bring his new puppy home. Last week, Bentley's dad, Brandon, came to the animal shelter to look at 2 chickens he was thinking to adopt when a pooch caught his eye. A puppy with a cleft lip.
He FaceTimed, he goes, I think this one has a cleft lip, and I said, get her. We need her.
Bentley was born with a cleft lip.
Aww.
His mom said he had a tough start in life where it was a struggle to get him to eat.
We had to sit him up and feed him and hold his lip together in order for him to eat. So it was a process.
Since day one, he's been a happy baby. Ashley says his cleft lip doesn't make him any different. The family feels
He's
finding
gorgeous
the puppy will
little
show
boy.
Bentley he isn't alone.
To see him
Aww.
have something in common with a puppy means a lot because he can grow up and understand that him and his puppy have both had something that they can share in common.
The animal shelter says they don't normally see puppies with cleft palates. Before her adoption, they had her for a week and don't see that she will have any problems in the future.
Her disability is really not holding her back. And as she grows, they'll be able to see more if there's anything changing that has to do with that, but she's really doing well. She might look a little bit different than a normal dog would, but it's not slowing her down at all.
At just 2 months and 2 years, the imperfect super duo find a perfect match.
Aww. Now, that is a feel-good story, if ever there was one. So, yeah. And I think we all need that. We need that to kind of de-stress after the news. So, always remember there is good in the world. It's not all bad. It's not... the world yes, there are evil people, but there are good people too, and always remember that. Take time to get out and put some positive things. Take a walk in the woods or spend time with your pets. De-stress after all the news that we're faced with, a barrage of it every day. So anyway, thank you guys so much for listening. I really appreciate it, and I enjoy bringing you the news. I hope that you enjoy it as well, and that you continue to spend time with me, listening to the news, and trying to discern truth. All right, guys. So you guys have a wonderful night, and keep seeking truth. Good night.